with a soil layer in it, which actually will not cement. It's almost like a sand pile here. And so when those hurricane waves hit the cliff, they knock great chunks of it down. I think on average, Hurricane Fabian probably washed away about 4 feet into the cliff face during the course of that hurricane. And that was only a Category 3. Bermuda's capable of getting a 4 or a 5.
The concerned members of the Bermuda Environmental and Sustainability Task Force, or B.E.S.T, are not against the development of hotels in Bermuda. It is felt that any new hotel should be built according to a tourism master plan, and that government should only sanction building on previously developed lands rather than destroy the precious few remaining large open spaces.
You know, the reason the Southlands development proposal has become such an issue in the community is because of the context of Bermuda. We are one of the most remote and smallest oceanic islands in the world. We have one of the highest population densities, actually 5 people per acre, and our housing density is 2 houses per acre, and worse than that, our pattern of development is scattered. It's evenly spaced development, and what that means is that open spaces are usually the rarest resource we have, and what we have are fragmented into small parcels for the most part. Now, what makes Southlands so significant is that it's a very large block of open space in an island which has otherwise been fragmented into very small open spaces. And one large open space has so much more value than the same area made up of small open spaces, because there's so many more things you can do with it. And so this is the big issue. Southlands is 37 acres. And if you look at the aerial view of the estate, you'll see that it's completely surrounded by dense suburbia where the housing density is already over 2 houses per acre. And so the irony is that the development proposed is actually proposing a density greater, a density of buildings and a density of concentration of people, if it's successful, that will be greater than the density of the surrounding neighborhood. And so you have to ask the question, if that site has been chosen because it's such a beautiful open space, and this is the argument that's been presented, how on earth does it make any sense to develop it at a density greater than the surrounding overcrowded neighborhood so that the open space values are utterly and completely destroyed? We seek to protect open space and woodlands and natural coastline, partly because of our own spiritual needs. But when it comes to wildlife, the reasons for needing to protect open space are much more critical. But take a pair of chickadee villages, for instance, one of our native birds. In order for them to, they have to live off the land. And in order for them to live off the land, they need about 2 acres of woodland per pair. And we're talking about just a little tiny bird here. And this applies to all of our different native land birds and all of our other wildlife. They have to live off the resources on the land, so they can't import their food from abroad. So when you bulldoze an acre of open space in Bermuda, or 37 acres, which is practically what will have to happen on Southlands if this hotel goes ahead as proposed, you are destroying the habitat for our native wildlife, and there's no way around that. You can't compromise in any way by importing food for these birds. I mean, they have to live off the land. So this is the issue in terms of biodiversity conservation. You're actually destroying and turning into concrete or tarmac the very ground, the very resources that birds, trees and plants need, to grow on the land. You know, the scale of the hotel, the first phase of the hotel that they proposed for the coastline of Southlands is so huge that they actually are going to require to move the road back inland in order to make space for it. And they've come up with what could be considered a brilliant idea for ensuring that the 2 halves of the Southlands estate are linked for the benefit of the tourist development without the intrusion of the road by putting the road underground. But by putting the road in a tunnel for about approximately a third of the width of the estate, they are symbolically burying the sort of concerns of the rest of the community. I regard that as a sort of symbolic burial of the rest of the community's concerns. Those people who enjoy a drive along South Road because they have an opportunity to see the beautiful beaches and the coastline. And that includes, of course, the tourists themselves.
Concern within our community over the Southlands development is far-reaching. Thousands have signed the petition against the granting of the SDO that would allow the Southlands proposal to proceed. Hundreds attended the town hall meeting. There has been a protest along the route of the proposed tunnel and a walk on South Shore to raise awareness. Bermuda's youth have joined the protest both online and on foot.
And my opinion on the Southlands being them trying to build up in our greenery, we're losing too much greenery. And Bermuda pretty soon is going to become a concrete jungle, and I don't think that that's good for tourism. I mean, okay, they're building more hotel space, but what are tourists going to come to when there's no countryside to see? Okay, yeah, buildings, we have colorful buildings and white roofs, but where's the, fascination in that? You go to the islands down the Caribbean, you go to Jamaica, people are amazed by the natural beauty that's there. If we keep taking away our natural beauty, then what are we going to have?
Can they bring in that many tourists, or is it just going to end up derelict like the other places they built, Club Med and all that, and have vagrants living there? Mostly the hotels, like comedians don't want to work in the hotels because they feel it's not enough money or whatever. But if they can attract comedians, then that'll be good. There'll be more employment. It's a special development order, which means that they can basically do whatever to the environment. So they might mess it up a bit because it's pretty beautiful.
When I first heard of this project about Jumeirah, I actually became concerned because this is a project of vast monument, concrete and steel. And my second thought was, what's to stop Jumeirah after building this thing up and leaving Bermuda, like we have in St. George's? And I travel along South Shore frequently. When I think about that area, when I pass that area now, and I think about driving in a pool, because a foreigner wants to build a hotel in my country, I say no.
My opinion basically on the Southland development is that, we've got other places we could develop for such a vast and amazing facility. It could go anywhere. We've got lots of places we could put it. Not sure why it's going right there, but, and it's a bit large, I think, for where it's supposed to go, but that's just my personal unbiased opinion.
This is our country. We should have a say in this. This shouldn't be something that should be, as they classified as a done deal. This is wrong. This is improper to the people.
As a senior, that I think we need to still keep some of our land for development. I don't have anything against them building a hotel, but I'm worried about going underneath and hitting South Shore. I'm really worried about that.